and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Adam Helmi. Welcome to this third session of the day, entitled eBerkat, enabling microfinance digital products to the underserved. Again, like I said, my name is Adam and I'm one of the co-founders at Hey Alfred. We are a self-help AI tool and chatbot app that actually helps users better understand their money and start taking control of their personal finances. We are advocates of financial literacy and financial inclusion, and we aim to really help the wider community and Malaysians as a whole in creating better relationships with their money. Should you want to find out more, feel free to visit us at heyalfred.co or our Instagram at instagram.com/heyalfred. So in this session, we aim to showcase MDEC's initiative, eBerkat initiative, in helping SMEs and the B40 market, the underserved, in terms of providing some kind of microfinancing solutions, microinsurance solutions to this particular market. So with me today, I have Angkor Jakwal, Regional Director for Aspirasi, Axiata Digital, as well as Ronnie Tan, CEO, Managing Director at SCxSC, MyTheo, and also Wilson Beh, co-founder at Policy Street. So before we start, just a bit of housekeeping. If you have any questions at all you have to do is go to www.slido.com on your devices, or alternatively, you can also check out the chat box on your right, I believe, if you have any questions at all. So without any further ado, I think what we'll do is we'll start off with some introductions. Maybe we can start off with Angkor, Regional Director at Aspirasi. I'll leave it to you, Angkor, to introduce yourself first.
Hi everyone. Thank you for this opportunity, MDEC, and thank you everyone, the panelists here. Myself, I'm Angkor. I'm the Regional Director for Aspirasi, Axiata Digital. I've been with Axiata for almost 2.5 years. I joined Axiata to actually set up Aspirasi, where our main focus was how can we serve underserved financially. And that's where we started building up the entire ecosystem, which is more on a microfinancing and microinsurance. So today, after 2.5 years, it really feels proud that I think we've been serving the segment that we really ventured into. And with this eBerkat initiative, I think this is the right strategy in the direction that we can really further enhance our programs and offerings to the B40 segment.
Terrific, thank you for that. Ronnie, maybe you can introduce yourself. Ronnie from MyTheo.
Well, thanks, Adam. Yeah, a very good afternoon. I'm Ronnie. I'm basically just a very brief background. I spent about more than 30 over years in the financial industry, covering banks, investment banks, and the fintech industry. Yeah. Recently, our company, we formed this. I'm managing director of SCxSC. We formed this company 2 years ago with a collaboration joint venture between Silver Lake, which is one of the innovative, largest digital innovator in Asia, and the other company is Money Design Japan. They pioneered the Robo advisory service in Japan 4 years ago. So we formed this company, and back in 2019, which was last year, we got a license, a digital investment management license, which they normally call Robo advisor from Securities Commission in 2019. Yeah, so I'll talk a bit more about Robo advisory and the digital investment management and how we could help the B40, and I think that it is a great effort by MDEC informing eBerkat, which we'll talk about later as we move along.
Great, thank you very much for that, Ronnie. Maybe now I'll pass it on to Wilson for the final introduction. Last but definitely not least.
Yep, sure. Thanks, Adam. I believe this is a new norm to engage virtually in this era, and it is a pleasure to be on the panel of SC times SC. My name is Wilson. I'm a co-founder of Policy Street. Policy Street is an insurance technology company which makes insurance protection simple, easy, and affordable. We are a financial advisor and an Islamic financial advisor approved by Bank Negara. which allows us to work with more than 35 leading insurers and distribute more than 1,000 products in Malaysia. And in the past 3.5 years after Policy Street was started, we have done a sum assured of more than 6 billion ringgit and helped more than 250,000 users to get protected. Our proprietary API technology is connected to the core system of various insurers, which in turn enables us to give real-time policy issuance and quotation to our customers. And our aspiration is to be a leading digital insurer in the region. It's a pleasure to engage with you. Thank you.
Terrific, thank you very much. Okay, just to kick things off, and maybe we'll start off with really sort of trying to understand the landscape of microfinance and microinsurance in Malaysia. So I think what we'll do is we'll hear from Angkor a bit about how Axiata or Aspirasi, as a leading pioneer within Malaysia itself and across the region, what's the landscape like, and why is it really important for us to put more focus on addressing the B40 market and the underserved? Why should we be doing this, and what's the initiatives that are being put forward by Aspirasi themselves?
Yeah, thanks, Adam. So let me just break this into two cycles, right? One is the current one, pandemic, which has happened, and all of us are part of that. What has happened in the last 6 months has changed everyone's life. When we launched 2.5 years back, we never thought that such an incident will happen, and that's why, and the serving the underserved B40s will be so critical, right? And that's what I said. Meanwhile, that we feel proud that we launched something which could change, or which could at least serve the underserved in the last 6 months. So when we started 2.5 years back, the idea was that there is certain segment of customers, which is B40, the small micro SMEs, Pasamalan, food trucks, mom and pop shops. They still don't have access to funds. They need funds, but then they don't have the bank statements, financial statements. They don't do proper accounting to go to bank actually and look for a financing. The only option available with them is to go to the money lenders, which would charge them a huge amount of money, right? So now, and within Axiata's ecosystem, the current assets that we had huge micro SMEs part of our business, be it Celcom, be it Boost. So we thought that there is an opportunity here where these customers need financing, or these customers need insurance, micro insurance solution, which can be delivered through us. That's one side. The other side is, how do we deliver that? It's easy to say that you can serve underserved, but how do you really serve them? Because there's still challenges in terms of getting their documentation, assessing them, what models to do. So we came out with a technology which is AI-based credit scoring model, and that too digital. So today, when we fund any of our prospective SME, micro SME customers, it is completely digital, and that's what we kind of feel very proud of. 3 minutes, you can just, and it's not an application we're talking here. We're talking about a tool which has been provided to each of the prospective buyers, where borrowers who can log in, or who can just click on the link, go through the link in 3 minutes, they would know what their eligibility is, and if they apply within next 3 minutes, the money can be there in their account in next 48 hours. So it's as simple as that. All KYC, everything is done digitally, and this is a Sharia product that I'm talking about. And since the time we've launched till now, we have serviced more than 20 to 25,000 SMEs, micro SMEs. Our average ticket size is 4,000, 5,000 ringgit. So that's what micro means to us, and we've been successfully delivering it day in, day out. Come to March 2020, when the MCO was put in, we as Axiata, we immediately wanted to launch something where these micro SMEs can still be protected and they can still have access of funds. So within a week's time, we were able to launch Aspirasi Assist program, which gave them similar benefits like any bank would offer. 6-month moratorium, very, very low interest rates, money in their account in 48 hours. They don't need to go out of their house to apply for it. It is all digitally offered to them. And we have in the last 6 months have again serviced huge number of micro SMEs with an average ticket size of 3,000 ringgit, where they were able to survive in these difficult situations. And similar goes for micro insurance products as well. Our microinsurance are bite-sized product. Our partner is Greyston. These are bite-sized, innovative products customized to the needs of the customers. It's very different, innovative, all digitally offered again. We are able to service that, and we're able to offer this to our SME and also B40 consumers, right? So all these products Exada has been offering and successfully offering. What is key here is that these are offered digitally. And when we came to know about eBerkat, we sat with the eBerkat team and MDEC team. We thought that this is the right channel and this is the right program that we should be partnering to actually service the B40, because whatever reach we might have, that's still limited. But with the eBerkat platform, it gave us reach and also the right customer base, especially the micro SMEs B40s, where both this microfinancing and microinsurance products can be offered. So yeah, it's actually serving the right segment of customers.
Right, and with the obviously with COVID and everything happening, what's the uptake been like? Have people been more inclined to really explore these microinsurance or microfinancing products?
Absolutely. The take-up has been exceptionally good. In fact, now we have reached a stage where partners are coming to us to service their ecosystem micro SMEs, right? So be it food industry, be it transportation, be it construction. So they are actually reaching out to get FMCG, to take our help to service these consumers, especially to kind of help them in the current situation.
All right, terrific. Okay, then maybe we'll move on to more of the investing side. I'll bring on Ronnie now, Ronnie Son from MyTheo. Now, Ronnie, I think investing in general has always been, a lot of people feel disconnected from topics such as investing. I think traditionally it's been very much catered or exclusively for the financial elite, people who have some kind of money. So what is MyTheo doing in terms of, or Robo Advisory as a whole doing in terms of making it accessible for the average Joe or every Tom, Dick and Harry to invest, full stop, yeah. Yeah, I think you're muted, I'll unmute you now. Yeah, not able to hear you, Ronnie.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you, Adam. Yeah. I think that's very important, as you say. Most of people in general think that investment is a very daunting task, very tedious process, and it's only reserved for the wealthy and the elite class, and not very accessible. So I think that's where we have to come in as a digital investment management come into play. Yeah, and as a simple explanation, what is Robo Advisor? There are some perception who think that a Robo Advisor is like an asset class where you invest in a Robo Advisor. There will be perception thinking that Robo Advisor is just another asset class like Bitcoin or gold or a building or so on and so forth. But basically, a Robo Advisor, it is actually a digital wealth management service. It is as a service helping each individual to manage the wealth. Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, that is certainly a very daunting task. Really understanding the dynamics of investment. What is investment? Do I have time? Do I have knowledge? Do I have the intelligence or the data to analyze the market, what to invest, where to invest, and when and how to invest? And you look at, especially now on this the B40 group. Yeah, basically our investment platform like MyTheo caters for all segments of customers, regardless of ethnicities, income, social standing, whether in the B40 group, M40 group, or the T20 group. Yeah, so let me just point out that the initiative by eBerkat and MDEC, yeah, that and if you look at it, the definition of a B40, this group of people, those are the people that have household income below 4,008. Yeah, and and it was a pretty interesting when I read the paper. Yes, I think it was over the weekend through Star Paper, mentioning about 64% of our graduates earn a monthly income of 2,000. Yeah, and close to 67% of the job vacancies in the industry commands a wage between 2,000 to 3,000. Yeah, so there's a huge segment of so-called underserved segment in terms of investment, underserved segment. That's where a platform like MyTeo comes in. Okay, so MyTeo platform is a robo advisory, but I prefer not to call it a robo advisor because people would think that it's a black box and very cold. In fact, I would prefer to call it a digital investment management. Basically, it's an investment service that are driven by an algorithm supported by a team of professional fund managers, portfolio managers overlooking it. Okay, we use algorithm to construct and manage a portfolio that suit each individual needs, depending on his risk appetite, credit, investment horizon, his persona, his total income. Yeah. So, and you look at the B40, okay, the way we treat the B40 and N40 and T20 in a little bit differently simply because of the risk profile. Yeah? But they're enjoying the same product. And it is with this intention that a digital investment management service like MyTeo, because it's so highly digitized, it's innovative, and it's efficient, that we are able to bring down the cost down to a very affordable price. And for example, to enjoy this service, you know, the traditional way, if you don't have at least maybe 50,000 and above, you wouldn't be able to enjoy a consultancy service, investment service advice from a wealth manager. But today, for example, for the eBerkat program, okay, we're making it so affordable with 100 ringgit, an initial investment of 100 ringgit. You have been managed, your portfolio has been managed by a very professional platform, just like we serve a T20 group, okay? And you just imagine that having just 100 ringgit, for example, obviously the more you put in is better. I'm just giving an illustration of 100 ringgit, okay? With 100 ringgit, you know, you are able to invest in, well, in MyTeo platform, yeah, you'll be able to invest in 10,000 over companies worldwide, okay? And they're not just investing in an equity, a growth segment, you're also investing into growth stocks, bonds, treasury bonds, corporate bonds, commodities like gold. So just imagine 100 ringgit, you're exposed to all these asset classes at a very affordable level, yeah? So I think the challenge of us moving forward is the challenge of the industry, like MyTeo, is really how do we promote the financial literacies? How do we educate them? Okay, how do we advise them not to look for instant gratification? Yeah, put aside some money, put into a investment platform like us, and we manage it. Yeah. So I think that that's what we hope to do.
Terrific.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are there actually? I think one of the questions that we're actually getting in right now is some people are asking right now, what is the underserved actually taking up these micro products? You know, in the spirit of financial inclusion, are you also looking to introduce Sharia compliant products? Is that something that MyTeo is looking to do?
Yes. Sharia products is actually one of the is certainly on our radar. Okay, and we're looking at it. And when we look at these products, two very fundamental. When we invest a portfolio, okay, as an investment philosophy, there are some underlying fundamentals that we have to look into. Yeah. First of all, is for example like Sharia products or the conventional products. One of the key criteria is the universe of these ETFs. Yeah, the universe of this, the products that are available. Yeah, and as I say, it is so important as a portfolio management to look into diversification. Right? The word diversification means it really make sure that you're able to diversify over multiple asset classes, which means that you can go into stocks, income, and commodities, as well as spreading it over, like for example, MyTeo, we invest in over 86 countries. Yeah. So Sharia is definitely one of the item on our agenda, but we have to look into this in totality, because at the end of the day, it's really trying to give a very favorable and a very good return to the end customer, to the end clients. Yeah.
Terrific. Thank you. Okay, well, what I'll do now is I'll bring in Wilson from Policy Street. Now, insurance as a whole, I think, is a topic that a lot of people, again, are very much scared of, even for those of us who are perhaps more financially well-versed, right? Insurance is a completely different ballgame. So maybe you can elaborate a little bit, Wilson, on what are the actual traits of the underserved, and what is Policy Street, so microinsurance as a whole, how is it, how can you briefly shed some light into how the underserved can, benefit from it, and how you make it more accessible to them?
Yep, sure, thanks. I think insurance is often overshadowed by the more sexier financial products, such as investment and lending mentioned by Ronnie and Anko, right? But if you take a step back, insurance is in fact one of the world's oldest industries, and it is an extremely important tool in our financial life stages, especially when we are in the wealth accumulation and preservation stages.
Right.
Generally speaking, insurance could be a very useful protection tool when you are building your wealth and family, because this is a stage where you tend to have more financial commitments, and especially so if you are a breadwinner. But regrettably, in Malaysia, if you look at the statistics, only about 4 out of 10 Malaysians have a basic simple life protection. And this is excluding those citizens, with double coverage. And in fact, if you really deep dive into the figures, most of these uninsured or underserved segments belong to the B40 categories, where most of them only earn barely enough for their monthly expenditures. Most of these underserved or uninsured, they do not have a simple protection because they think that insurance, number one, it is complex. It is not a necessity. And third, it could be quite costly under the current structure and scheme. So this is the reason why my co-founders, YM, Winnie, and I left our corporate job to start a homegrown insurtech company, Policy Street. What we are doing today is to simplify complex insurance products and to make it easy and more affordable for the underserved segment. So for instance, if you were to go to policystreet.com, by just putting in your IC and your car plate number, you get to save up to a few hundred ringgit by renewing your mandatory car or motorcycle insurance. And if you are a fresh graduate or you are a young parent, you are able to get an online medical card with decent coverage at less than 50 ringgit a month. And what are we doing here in the past 3 years is really to deepen on our 3 key propositions. Number one, we are here to give an unbiased recommendation to the target segment that we serve. There are so many products out there served by different channels, different providers. It is extremely difficult for one to comprehend or analyze which product is the best for your protection need. This is where Policy Street, we have a platform to give an unbiased recommendation, of course, enabled by our BNM financial advisory approval. And secondly, we understand that insurance is already complex and not sexy enough. And this is where we consciously and intentionally make the process of getting insured as simple as possible. We try to ensure that all of the onboarding process does not take more than 3 simple steps. from understanding your needs to obtaining your protection product to getting yourself protected by making payment. And last but not least, it is our in-house technology API, where we call it as a plug and play technology, which is already integrated to most of the core insurance systems of insurers, where we are able to enable our different strategic partners to then reach out to the B40, to the large Malaysian segments to be protected in a simple, easy, and affordable manner. And let me give you an example. And this is particularly meant for the B40 segment. Policy Street, we get connected to Foodpanda through MDEC a while ago. And through that connections, we had an opportunity to customize and structure a simple, easy, and affordable protection for the Foodpanda riders. And today, all 25,000 Foodpanda riders, they are insured through Policy Street. We use technology to simplify the products. We have an offline team which assists most of these Foodpanda riders, which by the way, most of them belong to the B40 segment, to be protected with a very decent coverage. And we believe by having eBerkat platform or even the relevant partnership, we are then able to serve more B40 Malaysians. And this is a core mission that Policy Street is sticking to. Perfect.
Okay, so maybe I have a question here for Angkor. I think I'll direct it towards Angkor. So aspirasi, they say operationally you are digital. So does this match with the micro business state? Is there a gap? So essentially they're saying, because you are digital, therefore, somewhat advanced, is there a gap in the uptake or, the accessibility for some of these micro businesses to actually participate in microfinancing or microinsurance?
Actually, not at all. Yeah, certain part of the base will still find it difficult to navigate through. But the way our technology team has designed the entire journey is to make it very, very simple and with a lot of tutorials as you go along. So the flow is so simple that, and it's available in multiple languages that one can really navigate through. So yes, but there's definitely certain segments which are old, the SME owners, they still find difficult, but largely I think with our simplified journey, we've been able to ensure that they don't find it difficult. And also, like I said, this is not on a mobile application, it's just a web link, so it can be opened up in any browser. What we do is that most of our products are offered through a partner. And so we would onboard a partner, and then we try and reach out to their segment of customers. So therefore, the entire journey is quite customized with a partner, right? So for example, if it is MDEC eBerkat program, so all the SMEs or B40 SMEs who are wanting a loan or financing, we would have a customized program for eBerkat, and similar for other partners as well. So yes, there is certain segment, but largely I think we've been able to service through our seamless journey.
Perfect. Okay, so a lot of these people who are underserved, or the B40 market in particular, lacks what we know as obviously creditworthiness or credit score. So one of the things that one of the audience is asking is, how do you actually, maybe I'll direct this towards Ronnie, is how do you actually evaluate a person's worthiness in order to, if let's say they want to invest into a product, how do you sort of do your due diligence or your KYC?
Okay, thank you very much. Very good questions. I think one of the key proposition, unique selling point of MindTio is the ability to customize a portfolio depending on each individual needs. Yeah. For example, let me just very quickly drive through the journey. Yeah. So when the investor, a potential investor, for example, B40, okay, we ask several questions. Yeah. That several question from that several question, we are able to analyze and construct. Okay. Obviously, we also look at his risk profile, his income, so on and so forth. we are able to customize a portfolio. Yeah. And as I said earlier, the unique proposition is able to construct a portfolio that comprises the right composition of growth, which is a higher risk product, and a certain percentage of income that gives you a regular dividends or income appreciation, and commodities gold to protect the inflation. Yeah. So these are the three components that are packaged together into a portfolio depending on the risk profile of each individual. So as we analyze through, and by the way, this is all done by the algorithm. Okay, and even when you onboard, okay, a typical process of onboarding and get invested is between 5 to 10 minutes for you to get invested. Yeah. So the moment you invest in it, okay, we take care. We will analyze and say and construct in such a way that we know what to invest for you, depending on the risk profile, the right proposition, right proportionality. Yeah. And at the right time, on the monthly basis, we will also decide on your behalf what to sell and what to buy in that whole portfolio, which means that you do not really have to read a lot of news trying to digest what is happening in the world, and oil prices move up and down, whatnot, and trying to correlate what it means. Yeah. And that is why we're saying that we're making it so affordable and accessible. The only thing that the investor need to do is consistently put in money to invest and have this cultivate this savings habit. Yeah, so this is something that we need to do. So as I say, it is a well diversified. We manage the whole portfolio for you, and currently we're only charging you only 1% a year. Yeah, 1% a year, which really boils down to only 0.08%. That's a very tiny little bit of management fees, and certainly very affordable. It's definitely cheaper than going for a cup of Starbucks. Yeah. So instead of drinking a Starbucks coffee, why don't you own a Starbucks company instead? Yeah. For example, in our portfolio, well, Starbucks is one of the pool of companies investing. So it's very affordable. And we do our normal eKYC, onboarding, and all these things. Yeah. So it's a very customizable.
Right. Okay. So just to follow on from that, then, Wilson, in terms of providing these insurance products to the underserved out there, how do you really drill down what the consumer really needs? Because one of the other questions that we have here is they're asking, okay, it seems like Policy Street only sells general insurance. How does life insurance, which usually which usually not micro play a part within Policy Street? So I think how do we really educate the market or tell them this is what you need, or in fact you go on the flip side and listen to listen to what they have to say in terms of providing a certain product? Because I think in terms of providing the product, I think there's a vast, we have a lot of ecosystem players out there, but it's really about the consumer behavior. So how do we address that that issue in terms of insurance?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for the question. Policy Street, we do general life and also Takafu products. We do not limit ourselves to only general insurance. But what you can see online on our platform, of course, we are also focusing on a few general insurance products such as car insurance, travel, and the rest. And there's a reason for it, because in the past 4 years, being a homegrown insurance, what we have realized is that when we were to do outreach to a lot of the underserved segment, most of them do not understand insurance. However, they understand the significance of mandatory insurance. For example, they will come to you to say, hey, my road tax is getting expired. I need to renew my car insurance. Otherwise, it is going to be illegal. So this is where we have put a focus on scalable general insurance, such as car insurance, to reach out to our target segment. So today on our platform, you are able to generate easily more than 6 quotations for motor insurance by keying in your IC, your car plate number in 60 seconds. And we are also guaranteeing up to a few hundred ringgit savings if you were to renew through the Policy Street platform. And this has helped quite a number of B40 in terms of their cash flow. However, our entire proposition doesn't stop at general insurance. What we are doing today is to use what we call a B2B2C strategy to upsell and cross-sell life insurance to the target segments who are already on board as a general insurer. And I give you an example. The largest listed sugar company in Malaysia, they have about 3,500 employees. All 3,000 plus of them are insured through Policy Street with a group scheme. And each of them is also given an exclusive Policy Street platform access where they are able to buy their individual life, medical, and also general insurance products. We use general approach to reach out to all these huge segments, but we use a deepened approach to reach out to this target segment to ensure that they are able to understand the importance of insurance, and they are able to also acquire cheaper and more simpler approach insurance through Policy Street. And this is where we put a very huge focus in the life segment as well. Because as you know, if you look at insurance, life is essentially comprised of three key products. Your life insurance, which covers natural death. If anything happens to the sole breadwinner, the life insurance is extremely important. And secondly, the CI, the critical illness. CI is working effectively as an income replacement tool. For example, if the sole breadwinner falls sick and he or she is not able to work for a good period of 12 months, a CI plan would be very handy to help the family to sustain for a period of time. And of course, last but not least, it would be the medical card or the medical product, which helps B40 segment to at least pay for their medical bills when they get sick and when they are hospitalized. So this is where Policy Street, we use a B2B2C approach to ensure that general life and even Takafu insurance requirements are well served under one platform.
Great, thank you. Okay, so what can we, what should we see from eBerkat and the ecosystem, the private and public sector, in terms of providing this help? What would you like to see out, some of the initiatives that's being pushed out? Ankur, perhaps you can take this one. Also, we have no representation from the regulators here today. So what's the landscape been like in terms of actually pushing forward this initiative? Has a framework been, is it progressive enough for where we want to be at in terms of helping this underserved market and the B40 market?
Yeah, so we are all part of the main team, which is kind of working on eBerkat platform, all of us who are participating here. I guess the reason why all of us are here is that we find a lot of value in this initiative. And eBerkat is a platform, especially when you talk about B40, underserved, is a platform, and it gives you reach out to the mass, right? All of us as independent organization, we have limited reach. We'll have limited partners to go around with. But when you have an initiative coming in from MDAC in terms of eBerkat, suddenly the landscape increases. You can reach to the what do you say to even to those customers who otherwise you would not be able to reach. So that's exactly what our aim is, especially for Esperasi to come on board on this program. How can we reach out to the B40 community, or in case of lending, it is a borrower, and similarly on the insurance side, to offer those products to them, which can help him survive in the current as well as future, business plans that they have. So I guess, yes, it gives you a very, very large platform where organizations like us can actually publish our products, services, and it could be offered to the right person. So we know that this platform is servicing a specific segment. It's not like you're reaching out to the whole mass here. You know that specifically this program is positioned for B40, and that's the segment that we want to be in.
Oh, great. So Well, compared to some of other industries, fintech in general and insurtech requires a lot of collaboration and partnerships. So we've heard from Wilson about how he's, they do a B2, B2C sort of model in terms of uptaking and acquiring customers. Ronnie, maybe you can tell us a bit about how you collaborate with partners in terms of, reaching out to the masses.
Yeah, great. And I think that collaboration is very, very key in today's world. Yeah, and as I said, eBerkat is one of a good example. Yeah, as Alcom has mentioned, that the folks in the team, the eBerkat team in MDEC have done a tremendous job. Yeah, and it's so key that the stakeholders like us and the public sector joining eBerkat simply because of the vision. Yeah, one of the things is because eBerkat is not really trying to address a certain product or a silo vertical. Okay, what we want to achieve is really a very holistic approach, and that's what eBerkat is trying to do. With all of us have a common objectives. Yeah, common objectives of hitting the market, educating the B40, the education. These are all common objectives which all of us collectively could do a very good job, and certainly with an economy of scale too. Yeah, so that's one point, and a very holistic approach. eBerkat is one of them. Yeah, and certainly in my tool, we have also taken similar approach like a B2C and a B2B2C, and it's all about collaboration, trying to make 1 + 1 = 3, the value out of it. Yeah? And and some of this collaboration program we are going to do is it has to be synergistic. Synergistic meaning that it's a packaging, so we will tap on each other a value proposition. So we'll be announcing some of this program over the next few weeks. Yeah, looking at pushing all this synergistic product, and certainly, Adam, you'll be the first one to hear from us. Yeah, to push this collaboration, and that's very important. And even we also collaborate from the international, not just from the domestic industry, because from the international front. Yeah, and if we can appreciate that SCxSC is basically the partners, the shareholder partners in this joint venture, they are all international players, Silver Lake and Money Design. And that is a very powerful proposition that we want to bring international best practice, international products and services into Malaysia. So the collaboration goes beyond Malaysian shore. Yeah. So, and the product that we're putting in, there are, as I said, the best practices, and within the group, there's also economy of scale to bring it down into Malaysia, and in the context of B40, just imagine, as I mentioned, with a very small amount of $100, which I hope they put in more, yeah, to be a meaningful investment, they're able to expose to an international class of portfolio management, yeah, and in terms of the investment. So that's where the value we want to come in, and certainly working with NDEP has an edge in that part too, yeah. So as you say, they are one of the main proponent of digital innovation. And on a similar point, I may also want to add, as I said, that our license is regulated and provided by Securities Commission. Okay, and as a regulator, Securities Commission, I can tell you that they are very, very market orientated, very, very supportive of the innovation product that we're putting on the table. They will guide you, advise you, so long as you follow the general guideline, the compliance, make sure there are good governance, and make sure that the investor money are safe and protected. And so long as you comply to that, the regulators are, and that is certainly a very plus a factor in the industry they're working in, that they encourage you, you know, and support you all the way. Yeah, so that is very something very encouraging in the context of in Malaysia, at least. Yeah.
Thank you very much. So okay, so maybe we'll backtrack and now we'll go back to talking about businesses. In fact, Ankur, so there's let me just find this question here that I found a minute ago. Yeah, so how do you reach out to B40 who have no tech infrastructure? Are you providing any programs that you're putting in place, either physical or otherwise, to actually reach out to people who perhaps don't have access to the internet or technology in general?
So our product is very simple. Like I said, the journey is quite simple. So and we also have the same strategy, B to B2C, right? Be it our insurance product or a lending product. So so there are two ways actually how we kind of offer our products to the market. One is through our website, where customers can visit our website and they can click on the various products that are there, and they can actually complete the entire journey, and they can find out whether they're eligible or not. If they're eligible, again, I like said, within 48 hours, the money can be their account. The other is partnership, the collaboration that we do. And we have partnerships across industries where we try and reach out to these customers via our partner platform. So so that is an ecosystem which is quite strong, because here the partner is also taking quite a bit of interest in terms of educating, socializing with the end user, which is very important. So when you have a small mom and pop shop requesting for say a 5,000 loan, there is a partner who's supporting, educating him how to apply, how to look at the digital journey. There's some bit of KYC's already happened. So we try and ride on the partner ecosystem to reach out to the last mile. So we depend a lot on our partnerships and our collaboration to kind of offer these products to them.
Okay. Terrific. Thank you. So maybe one more follow-up question is how do you help with insure or finance small businesses who might not necessarily have any collaterals, or these upcoming startups? Is there an example of how you've helped perhaps these sort of businesses that are just upcoming, micro businesses?
So it's completely AI, it's completely data driven. So the method that we are right now on the credit assessment side is twofold. One is whoever customer is coming through our website, there largely we don't have any data, because these are all open market. They're coming to your website, they're clicking on the product, and they start the journey. There, our reliance is more on the social data which is available. That reliance is more on the credit bureau data that is available. So therefore, the limits are not that high, but they're still decent enough to help them take the fund. Because what we're saying is you're getting 3,000 to 5,000 ringgit without any collateral, without any guarantor, within 48 hours. Right. So that is the story that is there on the website. On the partner ecosystem, we have enough data. So if I if I collaborate with any partner, we have data in terms of transaction, invoices, their past history with the partner. So that helps a lot. That helps us a lot in credit scoring the customer. And then those are the parameters that we use to give them the limit, which can be used for working capital loan, which can be used for supply chain invoice financing, or for any other business needs. So we've actually the entire product offerings are very, very flexible. So especially on a B2B2C, where what we do is we understand the partner ecosystem and then try and deliver the products, especially the supply chain invoice financing products, according to the partner requirement. So therefore, the data is quite helpful, and we're able to offer good limits to them.
Terrific. Okay. Now, there's another question here that I'll probably direct towards Wilson. It's one of the things that some people here are asking is why can't SCxSC, which is also an insurance provider, cover the B40 segment? Why sell them commercially directed life insurance policies? And also another one, maybe the second question for you is Policy Street for your life insurance. Who is your life insurance provider? Is it only one insurance company, or is it multiple insurance providers?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. I'll take on the first question first. I believe SCxSC is also a targeted scheme for employees or working adults with a certain level of income threshold. And I was also made to understand it is a public news where the organization is also in talk with a couple of gig economy players to apply this scheme to benefit them in terms of protection. So that is more on their initiative. And from our perspective in Policy Suite, we are always looking at how best we can complement some of these government incentives or initiatives, even My Salam, right? How can we use technology and customize product to complement what is already available in the market, with the end goal to ensure that the insurance protection requirement of our targeted segment, in this case, the underserved segment, is adequately protected. And of course, the second question is more on life insurance or policies that we carry on our platform. We do not just carry one particular product from one particular provider. This is due to a few reasons. Going back to Policy Suite's proposition, we believe that one of the pain points faced by the end users out there is that they do not know whether the insurance policy that they have obtained is the best value in the market. And there is no go-to platform to effectively compare and learn. This is where Policy Suite, we come in to fill the gap. We have an online platform, which essentially is connected with various insurers. We are today working with more than 35 insurers in town, and we understand what are the unique propositions of each and every insurer. And of course, based on the requirements of our target segments, we then are able to curate, customize, and put together the best in value solutions for our end users, whether it is a life insurance or a medical card, or even a general insurance for businesses ranging from fire, liability, condo insurance, or even marine open cover. We believe essentially that it has to be unbiased when it comes to recommendation. This is where we have the financial advisor approval, which allows us to do that by being transparent and also being open when it comes to advising and recommending the product to our end user.
Lovely. Okay, we've got 10 minutes, but Ronnie, I've got one more question for you, which seems to be very popular. If I don't ask you, I'm afraid the audience is going to be very angry at me. So Ronnie, robo-advisors have proven not very accurate as it uses historic data, and sometimes history doesn't repeat. So how is MyTheo different from other robo-advisors? How is it different, sorry, from, how is robo-advisory different?
Well, I think that, okay, that's also a very good question, yeah? So you're right, yeah, from the robo-advisory, we use algorithm that look at historical data, yeah? So point number one, that in MyTheo case, for example, yeah, we look back-tested results, okay? Over the 15 years, we simulate the situation of the financial crisis, the H1N1 pandemic days, and try to project, okay? And the important thing about investment is it is not really talking about trading, okay? Trading and try to time the market. It is very difficult to try to time the market and try to anticipate what could happen. Things changes so fast. Yeah, so the basic algorithm like us is we look into totality, we look at long term, yeah. And for example, like in MyTheo in operational for 1 year, okay, it is quite difficult to judge the performance of MyTheo in Malaysia, yeah. So so going forward is we really look at the whole. We also look at the market situation, yeah. But as I mentioned earlier, it's very difficult to try to anticipate, yeah. For our case, if you look at our case, to give you a feel of the returns, the feel of the returns of MyTheo, since inception until now, okay, our return have achieved for a balanced portfolio, for the benefit of the audience, for the balanced portfolio, we achieved a return of about 5.79%. Okay, so you look at it today. To us, we think that is a reasonable good results because of the certain unprecedented event that happened, the pandemic for starting in the beginning of the year. Without that, obviously our return would have been much better. Yeah. However, we do not time the market and get in and get out. Yeah, so it's really basing on these few fundamentals. We also look at economy, the economy. And by the way, we also have a very key ingredient part of it, which is the AI part. Okay, in the AI part, we use sentiment analysis. Okay, we look at the sentiment, we digest, we use big data, we analyze the news to see what Bloomberg, Reuters, and some trusted news agency, and try to come to a formulate our opinion looking at the risk and return. Yeah, so that's what we do.
Lovely, terrific. Okay, we're only got about 4 minutes left, so one last question. I'll ask Ankur this. Since you are probably the largest player here and you have the most reach, one of the other questions that people are asking are, if they are going to be taking up these micro products, what is the educational level there? Is there a need for financial literacy or financial education, and how does Aspirasi and as well as together with eBerkat aim to educate or convey the message, or is there something that's being set up in terms of education?
Yeah, so I think one of the key here is, like I mentioned in my the discussion, was that how do you reach out to the end user, right? So which is where your partner ecosystem is very, very important. And this partner ecosystem is where we try and leverage to socialize, to educate how the products can be availed. And to top it up, of course, the journey is very, very easy, very user-friendly. There are a lot of tutorials as you go along. There's an explanation of each and every step of why this information is required, what kind of details are required. So it becomes easier for them, and it's available in Bahasa and English as well. So depending on customer profile, they can choose the language and do complete the journey. But yes, to reach out to more and more users, it is very, very important to have a partner collaboration here. And especially on eBerkat, what we foresee is that through the platform itself, we will be reaching out to the right set of customers. And I think as we evolve as a platform, eBerkat evolve, where there will be a lot of education provided within the system as to how to navigate across the product, be it micro lending, micro insurance, and investments. So yes, as we go along, I think those are things that we will also, together with the platform eBerkat, focusing on.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, I'd like to thank all three speakers. We've only got a minute left, so we'll have to wrap this up. So thank you, Ronnie, CEO of MyTheo. Wilson, thank you very much from Policy Street. And Ankur, thank you very much for participating. Just a bit of housekeeping again. Stay tuned for the next session at 4 o'clock, data portability and transforming the financial services industry. Do remember that you can utilize networking features on the Brella platform to interact with other participants. So with that, I'd like to close this session and thank the audience for your questions. I apologize if I wasn't able to get to it. But yeah, hopefully I think we all learned a lot from today's session from our expert panel here. And thank you again to SC and MDEC for this opportunity. So with that, good afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.